So we got a hot debate for this week. So I wanted to say that I was going to tell you guys. I want you guys to kind of think on the spot.
Okay.
So right now I wrote a number down. So you guys, it's a number between 1 and 10. Whoever's guessed the number closest without going over gets to choose whether or not they
Oh,
want
without
to
going over.
defend or go against
Okay.
the topic. So we should pick. Tell me a number.
Marlon, age before beauty.
I'll go three.
Three.
You're going with
Okay.
3?
Yeah.
I'll go with 4 then.
I knew it.
I mean, that's your fault for picking it. What is it? It looks like you drew a wiener on your thing. Oh, 4. Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Okay.
you wanna be for or against?
Well, I want to know the topic first, or do I just pick? What's the advantage of getting the right thing if I don't know the topic ahead of time?
That's true.
You get
We got to know the
choose.
topic.
The choose for or
Oh, what
against.
the heck, man? I wouldn't even cared about winning then. I guess I'll defend. I don't know. What kind of shenanigans? I was all pumped I got the 4. And then you're like, no, you don't even know what you're defending.
So
Oh.
so I was on IG. I saw someone post a thing about it had Michael Cole and Jim Ross, and it said that Michael Cole was better than Jim
Oh
Ross.
my god.
Thomas, did
Sweet.
you even watch during that time? I want to know. Like, is this even a fair
Oh, well,
subject?
I watch AEW, so I have Jim Ross in there too.
Okay, but like the Michael Cole of old, like it was like him and Taz together a lot, or him and King. Like,
hmm
is this something you have the
I,
enough
I
like?
a little bit.
Okay,
I'm more of like um JR and King together is more of
yeah,
what which is
yeah.
um
I mean, just take your knowledge of
oh, am I
Jr.
supposed to
as
do
the key.
okay. I could do Cole now, like just in
Yeah,
general.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
The body of work.
yeah.
Um okay.
So Tom, so Wade is defending Cole, and I'm defending JR, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Wade is defending the idea that Cole is better than Jr. and you're opposite. That he's not better than Jr.
Okay.
Correct.
Now I'm trying
Okay.
to think of like my what I know about JR. Okay.
All right, I'll go. I would say for Cole, uh I think he has been able to progress with the times and evolve, which JR, to me, he's you mean kind of the same JR where he's had the same exact style. Um, he does have a great voice and style, but he has not moved forward. You mean as the sport has improved and progressed throughout the time. Um, I think Cole, particularly when it seems like he doesn't have someone in his ear telling him everything to say. Uh, Now that the psychopath is kind of out of the company, I think we've seen a whole other side of him that is a lot more fun. Um, I actually enjoy. Um, I think there's more to commentating than just like you mean saying what's happening in the matches. I like his enthusiasm with even just even the stuff as silly as with um what's her name with
Come back to
the
oh,
no but like with Pat McAfee, like you could tell he's having a good time, like, and I think when you could tell people are having fun at work, it makes it fun. Like I'm not a fan of Pat McAfee, but you could tell he loves Pat McAfee and everything Pat McAfee says, even if I don't think it's particularly funny. He's just dying and having a great time at work, which I think is great for the viewer. I but Valhalla, that's who I was thinking of. his stuff with like Valhalla and the horns, like just that whole arc of everything, and then he finally wears the horns. I was a huge fan of that. And I think he has the best record of commentators at WrestleMania matches, even though that is one of the worst matches known to man. But he does have a winning record in matches at WrestleMania. So yeah, I got to give it to him. Does JR have that? Absolutely not. So I don't know. Your thoughts, Marlon?
Yeah, those are all very, very valid points. But you know what? I'm gonna go with legacy and memory and who's got the buying power. So you talked about how JR has not evolved or is probably doing the opposite, degenerating or devolving, if that's a word. Um, I would say JR went from, doing interviews to getting ringside to becoming a staple in the voice of WWE, even with Vince McMahon in his ear. So he took what was directed and he made it his own. The Southern drawl puts him at an advantage type of disposition because I feel like the people are just their ears tune into that a little bit more. And his chemistry with King to me was better than his chemistry with Michael Cole and King. But JR, as far as legacy goes, has all of the catchphrases of what the millennials grew up with as far during the Attitude Era. It's like, it's Stone Cold! It's Stone Cold! By God, he's here! And then King going, what? What's he doing here? He's supposed to be in jail! Like, so those lines. Calm down, King. Oh, I just want to see some puppies. So JR's screaming and ranting during the biggest pops of the Attitude Era are what the people now, the people who have the buying power, the millennials and up, that's what stuck with them as far as the legacy goes. So anytime you watch anything from the Attitude Era, my God, he just broke that man in half. Or like, for God's sake, somebody's got to stop him. Triple H, you son of a bitch. You sick son of a bitch.
That is my favorite call. The match of the Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
He broke the man in half. Like
SummerSlam match.
Those things like stick in your head, and whenever you see any clip from the Attitude Era, like JR enhances that moment and makes it what it is. Now, I will give it to you for sure. Michael Cole is goading himself more and more because he does not have the screaming tyrant in his ears anymore. And I agree. He's definitely become a lot more lax and jovial and playful, like on the mic. So, but that's my argument for JR. It's just you got his name, you got his voice, you got the legacy, and you got the people now who've bought into wrestling because of someone like him.
Can I rebuttal on this?
Yeah.
So the thing with Michael Cole started like the same way as JR. Like he started with the interviews and all of that too. Mm-hmm. So I would say those cancel each other out. So that's not really a point from you. But I would say, you know what? Yes, his chemistry with King was better, but it's because they're both perverts. So I don't know if that's like really something to like. You mean say someone's legacy is better? You work really well with a pervert because you're also a pervert. So all you have to do is look at JR's likes. It's all meat rubs and rubbing the girls' legs on Twitter. So I don't know what to tell you there. So that kind of taints his legacy, pun intended. And yeah, the King thing. Like when I rewatch, what. The highs of JR are great. Like he does have some amazing calls. But when I watch the Attitude Era thing too, I would say I have to hear way more creepy and disturbing stuff on there than like I hear amazing calls. So like the and a lot of it is King, and then he's kind of like egging King on and stuff. But just, and I'm significantly more perverted than Marlon is. So like, if I am bothered by these things, I don't know how the normal person feels, because it like I feel like I have to take a shower after watching Attitude Era stuff with King and JR on the calls. So yeah, it's just the objectifying women and all that stuff, and like I'm not trying to be you woke police over here, but I mean it's pretty jarring, even for me. So that part really, you mean messes with the legacy of JR, where like I got to put both of those things together. I do agree the highs are very high, but the lows are low, and I'm not even his stuff in AEW. And he's old now and has had some health things. So, um, when he was full time in AEW, and I'm not like it wasn't particularly great. Some of it is because of the age and his health problems.
Mm.
Um, but since he's been limited to like really really big matches and stuff, it does give you the vibe of JR kind of calling some big stuff, and he can kind of tag in, and you get the all the positives from him just because the side commentators in AEW are so good, particularly Excalibur. So, um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the stuff from the attitude and ruthless aggression really it takes me out of it with JR and King personally.
Right. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from. It took me a few years for me um to get accustomed to Michael Cole in recent times. I mean, when he was with Taz, I really enjoyed that because Taz
Mm-hmm.
brought a lot of edge and voice to it and oomph to Michael Cole during that time. But when Michael Cole was with like during the pre-COVID days, before pre Thunderdome, I just feel like a lot of it. I know he was being yelled at in his ear, but like it
Mm-hmm.
just came off as so insincere. I don't think he did good with the material. He sounded robotic sometimes, and it almost just became white noise where like the commentary wasn't even a factor in the match. I was just watching some mediocre wrestling. So for me, during that time specifically, I think during Bloodline and out, he's gotten a lot better for various reasons. But I think now that time, that window after Ruthless and PG era and leading up to Kofi Mania at that time, like Michael Cole to me was just like a puppet, and to me that's what that sounded like to me. So, um, which is
Just confirming, you're talking about the time period that was the worst wrestling and worst writing in WWE, and he
yes,
wasn't able
yes,
to make those terrible
yeah,
matches sound
yeah.
exciting. I'm just trying to
Yeah, I know
confirm that.
that's definitely arguing, but even so, it's like I don't think anybody remembers anything of significance during that time. And I know it's if we're gonna go with like personal preference, like to me, it sounded super monotone, robotic, and I know he was trying to work with what he had, but yeah, that's it. But for the JR stuff during that time, it's like that was the zeitgeist during that time. It's like his level of perversion was a lot more subtle. He would try to calm King down. He would try to put details on the match of what was actually happening in the mud wrestling bikini match. God.
Very
or
tasteful.
Stacy
He was
Keach
very tasteful in
or
those calls.
Stacy. Yeah, he was trying to just call it what it was. He wasn't trying to put his like any garnishing or personal
As
preference
King's
on
like,
it.
hey,
Yeah.
kitty, 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 kitty. Yeah.
Yeah, King's like puppies. Hey JR, do you like puppies? Hey JR, do you like pie? I do like some pie, if I must say so myself. But like, I feel like as far as like JR goes during that time, like he just tried to keep it straight laced while still, leaning in a little bit to what King was doing. So I know you definitely had the harder part, and you had some great counter arguments, man. Like especially during the AEW stuff. So yeah, I
But
respect
so
Michael
before we
Cole.
wrap it up real quick, Marlon, give me your best match you think JR has called.
Ooh, um, I'll give you the one that I have most memory of.
Okay,
Um, it was the man. It's got to be Mankind Undertaker,
tell him
and
so.
then also Triple Threat, um, China. I mean Triple H, Stone Cold, and Mankind. That one was awesome too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same question for you, Marlon, but with Michael Cole. Thomas, but with Michael Cole.
I actually really liked, even though we were there in person, but I rewatched it. The Cody Rhodes versus um, Roman Reigns for 40. I thought the way he was like going through and kind of like talking through, just like how epic everything was. I really liked his
Mhm.
call for that match, and I thought, I mean, us being there in person, that was like really epic, but it's I thought he was able to make it feel like almost as epic for the people who were sitting at home.
Okay.
When Undertaker appears, he's like, "Holy Christ!"
Yeah.
Yeah, that part was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um. So if I had to, it's hard to say for me. Because I grew up listening to Jim Ross. You know. But then I sat through that whole period of Michael Cole coming through, in that transitional period there, and listen to those growing pains of like, yo, well, I've changed. Like, who wants change? Who no one really likes change all the time, right? So it's like, then we get to Michael Cole, and I'm like, man, I miss JR. I want JR to come back. Every once in a while, he'll come back and do, some WWE event or whatever. And it was like, oh man, I miss JR. He should be back or whatever. And then Michael Cole started to become the norm for me, and
Mhm.
I started to vibe with more what he was saying, just in general. The whole like mysterious GM thing that was kind of whack at times or whatever, but it was still cool. You still got to see him be a character, you know. But then to see him get to this point where he is at now, and even the stuff that he had, well, back then when he was doing backstage interviews,
He was
the
good.
interactions that he was having with DX or The Rock or whoever the case
Yeah.
may be, JR never had that,
Right.
per se. And so to be have like that type of fun, or be getting wedgies by DX, no one was doing that to JR, so that was a different side of Michael Cole. So you get to see different sides of Michael Cole through his career, you
Mhm.
know, uh, his personality grow and change and whatnot, and to the point that we get now, looking for the antlers from Valhalla,
Mhm.
Um, I haven't went back to watch WrestleMania 40 yet, but I remember watching just the match of the Usos versus Sami Zayn
Mm.
and KO. He kicked out the Run D. He kicked out the Run D. Like that energy was crazy. So I might, and then like say to see where JR is now, I feel like it does hurt his
Mhm.
image because I'm used to a certain style from JR.
Mhm.
I'm used to seeing JR at a certain pinnacle, and so now seeing him like this and him not be able to do it like he used to do it, it's kind of like watching Flair at 78 years old out here wrestling still. For me, it's kind of hurts your legacy. Like, dude, you solidified. You go chill somewhere. You don't have
Mhm.
to do this anymore. Like, you hurt my memories of you. So right now, I think I gotta go with Cole, man. For me, right now, I just like what Cole is doing. Uh, he's having fun. Like you can see, like say, like you mentioned, Thomas. Like man, seeing people have fun at work, that like yo, it's
Mhm.
cool. You can feel it. Like they was joking about the Puma thing. He's fast as a Puma. Let
Yeah.
me people know
Right.
about speed of a Puma. Like
Right.
them like just cracking up on the side there. Like that's amazing. So for me, I think that's saying that it's a landslide. Like Cole is up here and JR's up here, but it's still Cole edges out JR a little
Mhm.
bit for me right now.
Mhm.
I really like Cole and Corey Graves together. Well,
Yeah.
that's
Me
actually my
too.
favorite of Cole's combos, just because I think it is fun for him to like. It's nice when you see him having fun with you mean Pat McAfee, but like Corey, I actually like Corey Graves a lot, and I
Me too.
think just like his stuff where like Dom, like he's like talking up like how much of a badass Dom is, and then you got Cole who
Yeah.
hates him, and you mean Cole, like I like Cole's like rivalry with like Bailey and stuff, and
Yeah.
like all that. Yeah, I really like his stuff with Bailey a lot. Like they're good with talking crap to each other, which I don't really remember JR doing that too much, but
Mhm.
um I mean, now that we're gone through the thing, I actually like JR better. That would be my pick, but I had to sell on Michael Cole. Like the highs of JR are just so good in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like those epic calls. Um,
There's
and
like a compilation of him calling Triple H a sick son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, oh man,
so good.
that SummerSlam, like him versus HBK, and
Yeah.
oh my god, that one's so so epic. That's probably my favorite call ever. That would have been my pick if I had to pick one from
Yeah.
him. Just yeah, it was so epic. But no, that was fun. I'm yeah. I mean, I don't like your tactic of let me get the number, winning the number, and then not knowing what I get to pick, but. It's whatever.
That's great. All right, so that wraps up this episode of Tables, Ladders, and Bumps. Big thanks to Wade and Ringside P. Where can they find you guys?
You can find me on IG, um, Spotify, TikTok, YouTube under Super Kick Podcast or Super Kick Pod, some variation of that. But yeah, check me out, man.
You can find me at Wade Wrestling and Comedy. Um, and you could also find my TED Talk too, not my TikTok. I'm just kidding.
Awesome.
But go ahead.
And you can find me on Instagram at then now whatever with a period in between all of those words. And that is it for Tables, Ladders, and Bumps. Be sure to like and subscribe if you liked what you heard, or if you want to give any input in the comments. We'd be more than happy to interact. This wrestling universe is freaking awesome, and we love engaging in conversation. So thanks again for listening, and we will see you guys on the next one.